Hello and welcome to Dario's Tabletop. And today I make a video like this, and it's called "Is it worth it to get into 40K?" So let's try to make this in 10 minutes or so. I don't want to steal your time. So I am 39, and since I was little, I was just fascinated by the tabletop game. So I'm pretty stoked about tabletop, and you couldn't get me away from that all my life. I was in and out of the hobby for years, and of course I have many interests, but the tabletop hobby did stuck. I truly love it, and I would say it started definitely with Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40K. But when you're young, you're probably not as capable to get into the hobby as when you're a bit older. So, as you can see, I have a lot of videos and I played a lot of games. I also developed some games, a card game. I'm mostly a Magic the Gathering and card game creator, not towards board game or computer games, although I tried, and it was also kind of successful. But yeah, I found my niche. So why is that important? It is important because when you play a game, it is time you spend with people, time you spend with a hobby, time spending money, attention, time and money you could allocate somewhere else. So getting into tabletop or into hobby is never cheap, and getting into 40K can be devastating for your wallet. But so let's get into it. So 40K, the lore, the minis, the grimdark future. I think nothing beats that. So if you're looking at 40K and you're saying to yourself, man, I love the Commander, I love the Tau, I love the Necrons, I love the Tyranids, the Space Marines, I love Redemptor Dreadnoughts. Like nothing beats that. It is a great lore, it is a great IP. I think it took its basis. Where's my Dune book? Somewhere there is my Dune book. So I don't know where Frank Herbert got his stuff, but definitely 40K is just amazing lore-wise. Not so much the stuff that came in the past, probably in the past years, because I think that some SJW, woke stuff, that in general we have seen that the writing is not as good as it used to be. I don't want to say that it was everything better back in the days, but I think that the gatekeeping. So I'm getting a bit off topic, but back in the days, I had the feeling it was from gamers for gamers. And today is like from marketers to gamers. So they're maybe looking at stats, maybe rightfully so, and thinking, okay, what's selling, what is not selling, what is popular, what could we deliver, and that it's not a bad thing to think that way, but it takes away from the originality and creativity, and I think that is a big part why 40K was so much fun in the first place. But yeah, the lore, the models, the grimdark future, it's awesome. So if you're drawn towards that, by all means, you have to try Warhammer 40K. It is a great game. But, and well, it's not a but. Number 2, the community. The community so far, I think it's kind of great, in my experience at least. Definitely there will always be some people that will show up with the most broken list. There will be cheaters, there will be haters, there will be, I don't know. But in my local play group, when I started playing 40K the first time, and dipped my toe into the hobby roughly 2017, 2018, 19. It was nothing but fun. It was like great people, like everybody. Like there was this one guy who was playing his Chaos Space Marines, like really great guy. The guy who played the Drukhari, like fun and awesome guy. And the community is amazing, at least in my local Play Store. So I don't know, I can't say like maybe some gaming system attracts weird people, and they're definitely in 40K too. But the majority of 40K players I can now call my friends. So if you want to make friends at your local game store, 40K might be a great way to do that. And I have to say, like 40K is not an easy game. We will come to that in a second, but it's not an easy game to come to get into. It's really complicated because there are so many races, so many rules, but GW tries to streamline that and make it understandable. And the playgroup always like tried to help and encourage new player. Like that's great. And also, yeah. So number 3, the models. I have to say, we will come to the models and also to the prices, or maybe later to the prices. But the models you get from Games Workshop for Warhammer 40K. I've seen a couple of models. I don't have them on display right now. They're here and there and down there. But I have to say, there are some of the best in what you can buy for money. I mean, I have up there Marvel Crisis Protocol, great game, great minis. A Song of Ice and Fire, great minis, great game. Bolt Action, great minis, great game. But the quality, I don't want to say it's the best, but it's definitely up there. It's like the top percent. And it's great. It's great plastic. It's easy to work with. It's beautifully made. I got some sprues from my Deathwatch army, and I bought a Start Collecting Deathwatch, and there were so many parts on that sprue that I could kit out almost. Like you could kit out, I don't know, a certain number of Space Marines, but then there was so many leftovers that I could kit out almost my entire Deathwatch army with leftover parts. So that's really great. Same goes for the Warlord miniatures for Bolt Action. Also, like I have a German Grenadier starter box, like so many parts. And so, yeah, the models are great. They at least used to look great. Lately, I find them kind of boring and uninspired. I don't know why that is. Maybe it has something to do that they want to keep it safe, or I don't know. Maybe it's easier to produce. And I would say at the end of the day, sure, we enjoy a game, and it should be good. I think it should be good. But yeah, sometimes it's also like a business, and we have to understand that. But as a customer, you should be selfish. You should be selfish because, like, I'm also a solo entrepreneur, and when you deliver the best deal, people will buy. Like, that's just how it is. And if people see stuff that's better, that's where they're going. So if Warhammer doesn't want to dig his own early grave, you just gotta keep up with the other stuff. And what's the other stuff? I think 3D prints. I've lately seen 3D prints on eBay, and they look good. Are they as good as this? I don't know, but they are half the price or just a part of the price. But yeah, the miniatures are amazing. That's a big plus. So if you're getting into the hobby, Age of Sigmar, Warhammer 40K, great miniatures. The maybe, I don't want to say the best, but definitely up there. But that leads us to the next point. And the next point is like prices. I have prices here on my cheat sheet. I have a little of a SADFACE, and the prices for GW products are kind of, I would say, one of the highest probably. I don't know if it's justified or unjustified. I think, let's say, I get here for a tank, like this one is like 20 euros in Germany, and this one is 50 euros. But the weight and the height of the mini, like this is much smaller. I would say this, I didn't open it up, but the way I know GW, it comes with tons of stuff and great value. And the miniatures are almost always one of the biggest and like loudest and heavy, and not really heavy, like they're good plastic, but yeah, the prices are kind of high. And I don't know if they have to be that this high. So tell me if it's justified or not. But yeah, products need to cost something. What I can say is that I'm not pumped buying Warhammer 40K products, because like, let's say I play bolt action. I want a stock, I want a Cromwell, and this costs like 20 bucks. This costs like 20 bucks, maybe a bit more. I need some infantry, and I can get a box of infantry for 30 to 40 bucks. And I have a bunch of infantry then. I don't need to add more. 40K, it's like a box of 5 dudes, 30, 50 euros. And I need multiples of these sometimes, most of the times. And yeah, you need to have cash in the bank, or I don't know, a big supply of money. So it's not very affordable, and it's hard to get in and stay in joyfully, because I'm just sharing my experience from, like, I'm a maniac. I'm really crazy about miniatures, about painting. But I'm thinking, and when I got myself this one, I was thinking, oh man, this will look so cool in the Death Watch colors. And now you can see it's not even unpackaged. And I'm thinking maybe I'm gonna sell it. I don't know. Yeah. But am I hyped about A Song of Ice and Fire or Marvel Crisis Protocol or Bolt Action? Yes. I'm thinking, okay, maybe for 100 bucks I can get myself the Soviet starter. I sell off some of the Warhammer 40K stuff, and I have room for another army. And yeah, it doesn't get you pumped. Like you're looking at your army, you're starting to collect Warhammer 40K, and this one I didn't want to buy, but I really felt I needed to buy this to compete with other armies, and so I got it, and I was psyched to paint it. But yeah, 50 bucks. With those 50 bucks, I could have bought half an army for A Song of Ice and Fire. Although maybe sometimes it's justified. It's a great mini. It has great stats. It looks great on the table, so I don't want to bash it all of the time. It is cool. But yeah, prices are get a SADFACE. So rules and gameplay. I didn't have a super deep dive into 40K, but I think I started as a returning beginner in 10th edition, and then I played a bunch of games and got pretty much smashed every game. I won some of the games, but it was really hard to get into the game. Like there are many rules, and I've started so many games. I've started A Song of Ice and Fire, Marvel Crisis Protocol, Bolt Action, and yeah, I would say like 40K is definitely one of the hardest for a newbie to get in and stay in. At least that's my experience, just my opinion. And what I don't like about the GW systems for Age of Sigmar and for 40K, that's why I got out of Age of Sigmar, because one, the prices, and number two, the rules. Like, you start at the beginning of the game, you have here your 100% of your army, and here's the other 100% of the army, and then it's turn one. Bam! You smash this fist, and this fist gets smaller. It's just now a tiny little fist. Like, shouldn't happen this way. Like, maybe you can play around it, but then the other guy gets to smash this fist, and you lose some. And it's in every game it's the same, but just in the GW systems, in 40K and in Age of Sigmar, I don't know, didn't play Age of Sigmar in a long time, and I always hated the double turn. Didn't make sense. But in 40K, like, this was my experience. I smash the opponent as hard as I can. He loses things, and I start to focus down his big tank. Then next turn, he focuses down some of my stuff. And that's typical. Like, it's typical for a game. Doesn't matter if you're playing Magic the Gathering or Bolt Action or whatever. But in 40K, it's like very, very swingy, because it's like not alternating activations, but because it's I go, you go. And maybe if you're a good player, you can mitigate that. But I wouldn't say I'm a newbie gamer. I can get pretty competitive, but I also like to play a bit fluffy and stylish. But yeah, like, something about the gameplay doesn't feel as right. And I don't want to say that it's ugly. It can be a very cool game. It has its beautiful parts when you see your Space Marines or your Tyranids running through the ruins, and then they fight. Like, it has definitely beautiful gameplay aspects, but other stuff definitely frustrated me. And lately in 10th edition, like, constant updates, you're playing against so many factions. I had the feeling playing 40K is like starting to playing Magic the Gathering, and yeah, already starting at a very high level. Like, that's like 40K. So if you're thinking about starting 40K, maybe you start with a friend, maybe you start at a local game store, maybe you start playing with people that will not smash you all of the time, but will give you a great introduction to the game and tell you, look, this is what you could or should buy, this is how you could and should play. Maybe this makes sense for your army, maybe this makes sense for your play style. So overall, I would say okay rules. I did enjoy it, but sometimes like rules for eradicators, reroll everything. It's kind of stupid, or that I couldn't load out my units the way I wanted, like it used to be in 9th and 10th edition. I don't know. Number 8, 3D printing, GW. Yeah, I already talked about that. I found on eBay and Etsy beautiful models. Like I don't know how much eradicators cost. I think here in Germany, 3 eradicators around 40 euros. And on eBay, it was models that looked like eradicators out of resin, and like $20 or even less. And they looked good. They didn't look as good as the GW minis. And sure, you cannot play them probably on a local tournament, but if you're just playing with friends, there's your alternative. And then lastly, the point why I might not recommend it, because like I don't really feel appreciated as customer from GW. Like I don't know. It's something like you get something and then you see you need the next best thing, and sometimes GW seems to work on the stats, and something like a new codex comes out and it feels slightly overpowered, or then they tweak it, and So you always, or I had always the feeling, I need to keep up spending, buying new stuff, which of course they need to make money. They're a company, but then old stuff gets out and new stuff. And yeah, I just like the feeling is, I can't even explain it. I don't want to go into depth, but I didn't feel appreciated as a customer from GW. I do feel appreciated from Warlord Games or Simon, who make A Song of Ice and Fire. I think there is a fair balance of what you pay and what you get, and how they keep their fans or customers happy with great communications. You see that also in the game, that they seem to be a bit more balanced. Warlord Games, for their 3rd edition, seem to have listened a lot to their community, and yeah, delivered on that. And sometimes I don't see that on GW. Like I feel like as a customer, sometimes you get slapped in the face and punched in the face. But yeah, if you want to get into 40K, do it. Don't let yourself don't listen to me. Get yourself, make that experience, and maybe it's different for you. Maybe you love it. It's a cool game. It's not perfect. It's a bit pricey. GW is a bit strange, but yeah, try it out. Have fun, and if you have questions, I will answer them. Maybe. We see us.